Glass Gang, thanks for tuning in. This stream starts soon. Alright, how's everyone doing today? Today I'm playing Fallout 76, and I'll be testing the Plaz versus the Pepper Shaker versus the LMG. In a non-PA setup or configuration, this is a VATS build, so no power armor, no problem. We're gonna see which is the best to use. I'll also be testing, sorry I have some indigestion I guess. I'll also be testing low health and high health versions of the build because they do differ in performance. In fact, most of the time the Pepper Shaker kind of struggles with non-PA to keep you alive because of the fire rate. We're gonna see that here tonight, but in power armor it absolutely demolishes. So tonight's testing is really to see what is your best option if you're not gonna run power armor. What will keep you alive in a, survival situation where you're facing off against the snake and you have to carry the team through to victory. First, I want to start with shouting out the Glass Gang. Thank you so much for being here. Mad Matt 82, Not a Alien, RUV Chaos, J Swim, Sophie's Driver, Big Play Ray Ray. How's everyone doing tonight? I'm guessing the Pepper Shaker will be the fastest time. Well, that depends on a few factors. It's not always the case, Coyote 5. Just because the Pepper Shaker might be number one in power armor, it's the same thing with other weapons too, right? They don't all work the same when they're not in power armor. We're gonna see that tonight. But real quick, smash the like button, hit subscribe if you're new, and turn on bell notifications. I live stream and upload weekly Fallout 76 content. It helps the stream get out there to more viewers who may have missed the stream notification. It's really good, right? The Ghoul Pepper Shaker build is so much fun in power armor. It is super tanky. That's another thing I want to get out the door right away. We're not testing the Ghoul build tonight. There's a reason for that, okay? We're only testing high health and low health, so bloodied versus high health, and then all three weapons I mentioned. There's a reason for this. It is mainly because ghouls are just tankier and do more damage. So basically it puts them in another playing field. They don't match, like the bloodied just won't match what the ghoul can do. In survivability, I mean, like survivability is so far off with bloodied. So we are excluding ghouls. Plus I can't just like switch to ghoul midstream. I've actually been really enjoying the handmade lately. Actually, me too! One of my mule characters has a handmade, just a nice handmade that got dropped, so I gave it to my mule. It's a Furious Rapid VATS optimized 3-star handmade, and it shreds. It's so much fun. Keeps my mule alive. Ghoul too strong? That's right. Ghoul's too strong. Too strong, too tanky, too powerful, too OP, can't be stopped. It just makes everything look OP. Oh yeah, also I have a brand new look for my character. It's not this, but this is what you're used to seeing. But check this out. Sometimes we actually get decent reskins. And this is one of them. This is the reskin for this season for the Civil Engineer helmet. Look at it. I think it's so nice. It's perfect for fighting the snake. There we go. Now he won't catch any diseases. Let's head down to the snake boss. We're gonna do like a build breakdown once I'm there. I'll have to optimize each build every time I switch because I honestly didn't prepare a perk card tree so that I'd be able to talk about it, put it together on stream, talk about why I'm putting certain perks, allocating them, you know, in certain ways. But we're gonna start with doing times, and I'm gonna write them down here. I have a whiteboard of all things. I'm not like super professionally set up, but I have a whiteboard because I'm gonna write down the times that like the high health version did, because we're gonna do all high health first, and then we're gonna swap to a bloodied build and run them all again and see what kind of times they do then. So I only have 4 overdrives, so I won't be using overdrive. What I'll most likely be doing is using just like no buffs. We're just gonna go, you know. Oh, we have buffs active from the last time I played, but what do we have active? We have accuracy boost, that's okay. Agility boost is okay. Endurance boost is okay. Those don't change like damage or anything. Rush of Love, that's for chem duration. Company tea and squirrel on a stick. Okay. Nothing that changes damage, so we're good to go. We're at 710. What I will do though is I will pop my carnivore mutation so that I can just get a little bit of more damage out from food buffs. This will allow me to use Blight Soup. As a carnivore, you can still get 50% crit damage from Blight Soup. If you pop your carnivore mutation, this suppresses the negative side effect of the mutation, which is you gain no benefits from eating vegetables. You don't get the 100% bonus that herbivores do, but you still get 50%. This will be fine. It's nothing crazy. Alright. We're starting with the Plaz build. We're going to take a look at the build here. It says High Health Commando. Just ignore that. It's just a base build I'm using, but we'll be swapping it around all night. These are the base perks. I'll be uploading this build as a guide too, because I love this Plaz build and I've started maining it. I love it so much. This is what the perk tree looks like. And so if you guys have any questions about it, do let me know. I have Traveling Pharmacy, and I also have Through Hiker on the build. This is so that I can run active as a 3-star mod, because the biggest problem with the Plaz is it drinks like a fish. Basically, the fire rate is way too high for this thing. So I have Vital on there. You could get more DPS out of it with Rapid. You absolutely will, but the problem with big tanky targets when you're using Rapid on the Plaz is it puts the fire rate way too high. And basically, it's impossible to stay in VATS for any amount of time that's, you know, gonna do damage. You just keep running through your AP. So what we're doing is we're actually using the Furious Vital VATS Optimized Conductors Legendary mods with the standard receiver, standard barrel as well to keep that AP cost down to 9. With the Swift Core Receptacle so we get decent reload speed, and the Reflex Sight with the accelerated nozzle. The accelerated nozzle does bring up the fire rate but doesn't touch the AP cost. So that's a good way to squeeze out more DPS and not affect your AP cost. There is other setups you can do, like having the split, what is it called? It's like a split barrel modification, but I'm forgetting what it's called here right now. But it's mainly for aim down sight, as it immediately brings your AP cost to plus 33, which is just too much for a VATS build. So let's see what I'm talking about here. The beam splitter is what I'm talking about. This is a great way to get DPS out of the GLASSGANG with certain perk cards that will allow for it, but it's mainly for an aim down sight build, because look at that. Immediately we went from 9 AP cost to 23. It's not going to be friendly for staying in VATS. I'll have to be slamming coffee no matter how much AP density I have, so it's just not that optimal. So this is the best way to set it up the way that I've found. I have been testing a lot of snakes, just changing vital versus rapid, and from what I can tell you from my experience, explosive isn't good enough. Rapid just puts it into a point where it's going through all of your AP immediately at the start of the fight. Vital is the sweet spot where I can still squeeze out some good damage out of this thing and still have, you know, enough fire rate with that accelerated nozzle. Will polished be good with that? No, not in this case, because we're really counting on conductors. Polished is just additive bonus, and it's okay. Like, it'll definitely be noticeable if you're, you know, fighting ENO 6, for example, or if you're fighting like Earl, for example, because he's super tanky, or the neurological warfare bosses. Those guys are like super tanky. You'll notice it more there. But for infinite VATS builds, for AP to return on crit, we need the conductors mod. That's what's making these builds possible. Because on crit, we restore 10 health and 10 action points. Your action points are how many points you can use in VATS. That's why the 3rd star mod on here, the minus 35% action point cost, is contributing to sustained use in VATS. Because it means that it uses 35% less action points to sustain VATS. On top of that, the conductors mod is returning action points 10 instantly on crit. And with this build, I'm set up to crit every second shot. I have to hold my critical attack button down the entire time I'm in VATS for this build, because I can't spam it fast enough. Thank you so much, KingShots89, for the 5 gifted memberships. GG. Thank you so much for the support. So no, for this build to work like you see it, you have to have conductors. Okay, so that's the weapon breakdown. That's the Plaz we're starting with. Oh yeah, I didn't show the rest of the build, so let's keep talking about the build. The reason Traveling Pharmacy is on there with Through Hiker is because the armor set that we're using tonight, both the Unyielding and Mutants versions, are exactly the same. They have the Bertress mods and strengthened non-legendary mods, which reduce limb damage, which makes it so that the snake can't cripple me. When the snake cripples you, you're unable to target limbs. You end up having to break VATS to stim yourself, which costs you time. You want to be using either Civil Engineer Armor or Brotherhood of Steel, not Secret Service. Secret Service won't be good enough for this build because it doesn't have access to the 20% limb damage resist per limb. Combined with Adamantium Skeleton means you can basically completely eliminate limb damage and being crippled altogether. So keep that in mind. Both armor sets are the same. I'm going to show you the the low health armor set here in a moment. We're going to be testing later. Right, not this one. This is my Sentinels set. Where is it? Here we go. Unyielding, +2 agility, active limit breaking. So same thing. The only thing different is the 1-star mod being Mutants on the high health for damage resistance, and the Unyielding version. The reason why I'm going with Unyielding instead of bolstering, I think is what it's called, is for that higher max AP density. That +3 to all stats at low health is really meaningful for this build. You can get a lot of damage out of Science, which is a card that scales your energy damage off of your intelligence. This increases that intelligence. This is per piece, so that +3 to all specials stack per piece. So that's ×5. This does a lot for your max AP density. overall though, for not having unyielding on this version, which is the same thing as you can see, except two pieces have powered and then 3 pieces have agility at the second star slot. So that's the only difference with this armor set. I just ran out of agility mods. I couldn't finish putting them all to agility. But even though I don't have them all at +2 agility, this armor set, without being on a team, sits at 661 max AP, which is really good. And if someone joins my team, it's at 710. So it's just over 700 max AP. If you guys can see the AP counter, we have 700. And with the unyielding version, you can get this number all the way up to 1,000, which is crazy. And the Plaz absolutely needs it. And if you want to run this build with the Gals Mini, you can too. The Gals Mini would love a max AP build like this because it drinks like a fish. But honestly, you're probably better off with the stim pack builds that people typically do, because you need all of that. Honestly, it just drinks so much AP. It's why everyone resorts to that. So let's go to the snake and see what's going up. See what's gonna happen. So we're not going to use any buffs like bobblehead, magazine, or anything like that. I'm hoping it's within a 2-minute time. I'm assuming it will be. Just from my testing, I've been able to reach 1 minute 8 seconds with this Plaz. So anything under 2 minutes is good because I'm not using any buffs at all, versus when I was doing that testing, I did have some buffs active like overdrive and stuff. So what Pip-Boy skin is that? This is the Ghoul one. It was one that came out with the Ghoul update. Can we inspect it? Oh, I can't inspect it. I'll have to show you on a workbench. But it came out with the Glow of the Ghoul updates, my favorite one. Another thing we'll be doing is pre-stacking Bulletstorm. I keep seeing some of the same questions come up where people will put together one of our build guides and they'll comment, hey, I put together the build, but my damage is lower on my Pepper Shaker, or my damage is lower on my Plaz. That's because these builds use a damage stacking mechanic called Bulletstorm, where the more you shoot your weapon, the more damage it applies to the weapon. So up to 20 stacks. If you look at the bottom right of the screen, you're going to see that I have 1 stack of Bulletstorm. I'm going to make sure to point that out to you guys here, if I can. Oh, you're going to see it down here. I can't really show it to you, I guess. Like, I can't bring my mouse down there without having my Pip-Boy up. But if you look in this bottom corner of the screen, you guys are going to notice there's a little 1 and a stack of bullets. That's the Bulletstorm counter. As you're shooting, that number goes up and the damage goes up on the weapon. So let's have a look. We're at 31 base damage and 40 energy damage. When we start shooting, watch how it goes to 2, 3, 4. Now, here's the thing, okay? Both this weapon, the Plaz and the LMG, they do alright. They do alright with Bulletstorm. But the Pepper Shaker is insane with Bulletstorm. It stacks Bulletstorm faster than anything else because it can fire up to 8 projectiles, and Bulletstorm stacks by projectile count, meaning the more projectiles that are coming out of your weapon, the faster it stacks Bulletstorm. The faster you stack Bulletstorm, the faster you start doing damage. So now we went to 47 and 63. See how that base damage number changed? So don't just put together a build guide on the channel and then look at the damage numbers on your weapon to see if you have it right. If you don't have any pre-stacked Bulletstorm, which you won't have any right after putting together a build, the numbers won't look the same as what you see in any particular screenshot in a video. Righty. And what you can do is actually start with more damage by shooting at the wall, for example, and stacking Bulletstorm. You can do this by just firing until you see that damage counter go all the way up to 20, which is the max, and then you reload, and it'll drop you down to 10 stacks of Bulletstorm with a full magazine. I'm also going to do this in first person because the reload animation is way too slow in third person, and it's a lot faster in first person, but it makes it really difficult to keep an eye on where the tail is going to be. Alright, we're at 9 stacks. That's okay, we can start with that. So we're going to have a quick look here at the effects tab to make sure that nothing's active damage-wise. We don't have like overdrive or anything. We don't have magazines or bobbleheads or anything like that. We do have food buffs that increase max AP and 50% more crit damage, which I will be using for every weapon, so it'll all be the same. Let's start with the first snake. What the heck? That was a really strange spawn. So you can see that even with 700 AP, the Plaz just runs right through it. It's not really an optimal infinite spats weapon, but we still have really good AP regen. And what we can do is just let it regen, keep firing to keep stacking bullet storm, and then lock it in VATS again and keep dumping rounds. You also want to make sure you're close enough to the snake so that you can get that 95% VATS accuracy on the eyes. That's really strange. My damage numbers seem a lot lower than what I'm used to seeing. I'm wondering if my legendary cards are right. We're gonna start this test over because it doesn't look right. Another problem with right at the start of the snake fight is you tend to have server lag that messes with your AP return, and then you go through all of, or like a third of your AP bar before you even have anything returning from conductors. So how you can buffer that is by using any type of food buff that gives you a like 25-second buff. So this works for 25 seconds. It gives you 12 AP per second for 25 seconds. It can work to get us through that if we're having server lag. So I think I'll do that for each one because we're just going through all that for nothing. Yes, this build is a carnivore. We're gonna do 1 coffee. Because the Plaz just needs it. We had a better spawn this time. I did forget to check my legendary cards, but we'll check after. And we got 0%. Is overdrive really doing that much of a difference with the Plaz? A minute 30, okay. That's interesting. Why don't we do another run? Why don't we do another run and we do use the overdrive just to see. I have to see because I was getting 1 minute times. Not crippling the snake. No, not crippling the snake. Just focusing all that damage right away. Thank you so much for the jewels, DD. Yeah, we're gonna try another one here. We're gonna try with overdrive. I just have to see. Is overdrive making like a 30-second difference on the gap Plaz? That doesn't make sense. Also have to take a look at the build here. With mobbing, it's totally fine. The gap Plaz is fine, like you guys saw. I was able to dump rounds into all these guys and kill them, and we didn't go through that AP. That's because of perk cards that replenish AP on kill, like Grim Reaper's Sprint, so we can have that return on AP when we get a kill. This works with or without conductors, and can act like a conductor's perk. But let's see here. We do have science. We have all of the cards we need, it looks like. That was the test run. We'll do another test run here with overdrive because I have to see. There's no way it's that big of a difference. Usually I run this build and I'm getting 1 minute times. The only difference is I'm using overdrive. Which is weird because it doesn't make that big of a difference on other weapons. We're getting 30% and tonk, which is fine. It's plenty. It's not like you get a whole lot more from having higher intelligence. You get up to 40% damage from the science per card. We have enough overdrive to do one test with each weapon with overdrive. So I think we should just do that. I have 4 overdrive! I have a whole bunch of psycho or psycho buff I could use too. It's not as good as overdrive. Let's try overdrive. We're gonna do these test runs here real quick. I don't feel like running down there. Yeah, I don't farm the digested goo or anything. What I do is I just go to Highway Town. I server hop Highway Town and get my overdrive that way. I'm thinking something different. Okay. whatever I do on this test run, I'm gonna do to all test runs. And I have plenty of buffs to do it all. You know what I mean? To show you guys all the buffs that stack with the heavy guns and VATs. So why not do them? It's not like I'll run out using them with these tests. There's plenty to go around. So what we can do is we can add Tesla Science 9, which is plus 100 heavy gun crit damage for 1 hour. And Big Gun's bobblehead. But first I just want to do overdrive. I need to see, is it that big of a deal? But yeah, there's a vendor inside of Highway Town. You can server hop it, farm it. So I did lose the buffs that were giving me a little bit extra max AP when I died to teleport down here, but oh, it looks like our food buffs too expired, so that's probably it. Squirrel on a stick. Cooked soft shell meat. We're back up to nearly 700 max AP. So now we just have overdrive. Once we find our baseline, I'll apply that to all, because as you guys know, I like my builds to stay around 1 minute if I can. Or be around 1 minute. Which this build absolutely should be able to do. Yeah, we're restarting, and then I'll just do all the buffs that stack with it. It's not doing much. Overdrive isn't adding much to this. Which is weird. I don't know, maybe we're in a funny server. But let's see, let's do all the buffs that do stack. I should be able to get this down to a minute. I was doing it all night last night. Luck is good. So yeah, the only other things we're going to add here then is the Tesla Science 9. And bobblehead. Or is it Big Guns? Let's see what we got now. Maybe I need to just go to a new server. This is definitely acting strange. Because I'm having issues with AP when the snake comes through the falls, which is a telltale sign of a laggy server. We'll use one coffee here to try to get through that. And the snake is invisible on me for whatever reason. 1 minute 15 seconds. Alright, so we have our baseline. So I just have to do that with every weapon, match those same buffs, and go from there. Would Center Masochist help to build out Miss Glass? No. We're not targeting the chest on the snake. That's a torso only damage modifier. So instead of having a Center Masochist at the snake, it wouldn't do anything for you. You would want to have Downranger because the snake is far away from you. It's a very tall enemy, and when you're targeting the eyes, you'll get that bonus from Downranger. Now we're going to swap to the LMG because it's the closest weapon to the Plaz that I don't have to do too much to the build to get fully optimized. And we'll just run the same buffs and see what it can do. Howdy, Ocelot. So the legendary cards don't have to change with this, and basically everything here can stay the same as well. Everything in this category too. The only thing is we're not getting anything out of science, so we can swap that for good with salt so that we have our food buffs lasting longer. That's literally the only change I make to this build, and we're good to go. So, oh yeah, we also don't technically need batteries included, but I'm gonna need it later, so I won't swap it out. Oh. Give me 1 second, gang. I just have to come back here for something. Thank you so much, Chenzi. 100 overdrive. Perfect. We'll have plenty for our testing. Thank you so much. That's so nice of you. Saved the day. Does Grim Reaper's sprint trigger for Snaketail or something? Why use it for Snake? Yeah, so I optimize all of my builds on the channel for daily use, which means there are some quality of life perks that help outside of raiding and solo farming. So this is so that I don't have to change anything around. I set it and forget it. I run around. I can solo the snake in 1 minute without extra, you know, farting around on the build. Basically, Grim Reaper's sprint is there so that when you're at events outside of the raids, or even at stage 2 in the raids, because you're going to do full raids eventually, right? At stage 2, you have a ton of enemies that spawn to take out the drill, and you can kill them and have Grim Reaper's proc on every kill, and when you swap targets with Gun Fu, it replenishes. Everything is good to go. It swaps targets on kill and gives you back that AP loss so that you have infinite VATs a lot easier. It's really for that. It's an optimization for daily use to make it friendly for daily use. Same thing with Gun Fu, right? If I'm only targeting the snake, what good is that, right? Well, it's for just what I talked about. If I'm doing other parts of the raids with friends, I don't have to mess around with my build sucking at targeting multiple enemies and having to reinitiate VATs every time. Plus you get that 30% more damage to your next target. Stuff like this too is considered a quality of life perk because all of my builds are set up like this on the channel. The builds that I put together on live stream are no different. So we're going to do another snake, and this time we're going to use the LMG. It is a hog. The LMG is a hog. If you don't like the LMG, I suggest trying the Plaz. I'll be putting out this build here soon as a build guide, and I'll have the high health and low health versions up. And the nice thing about the Plaz is it's really easy to craft ammo for it. You can use the standard ammo, not prime. That's what I'm using. And it holds a lot of rounds. One cartridge or one core, plasma core, holds 500 rounds. So it's a lot easier to maintain that and keep ammo on you. The only problem is it's not as good at staying infinite VATs. Like, you guys are going to see a difference here. Watch my AP drain. It's going to be totally different. You need to leave, Mini Glass. I'm soloing. Also, the Plaz breaks kind of fast, so that's why I usually will have the perk card that makes it so that your weapons don't break as fast. You could swap that in instead of Good with Salt or instead of batteries included in this case, since we're not actually, we don't need batteries included. I'm gonna take the easy way down if I still have enough toxic goo. Hoping they fix PSN so we can get back to doing raids. I hope so too. It's really sad to see the state of PlayStation right now. It's why I stopped doing raid streams on PlayStation. We can't get through one without it taking 2 hours because of how many times people crash out of the raid. I'm gonna bring my mule inside the raid on this one, but she isn't gonna fight or anything. I just want to get more loot out of these efforts. So it's not going to do anything. She's going to die immediately, basically. Is what's going to happen because she doesn't have any armor. PlayStation's extremely unstable. The last time I tried doing a raid stream on PlayStation, it crashed 3 times in the first 15 minutes. And it was also crashing when people were trying to come inside the raid or go to a new part of the raid after clearing one section of the raid, and it was just one person after another crashing out of the raid, and I was borderline crashing out on stream. You know what I mean? It wasn't a good time. So it was unfortunately the last time until something happens, until it's addressed for real, because it's not good. So I'm going to pre-stack Bullet Storm. Same thing I did earlier to keep it fair and square. And you really can't get higher than 10. So 10 stacks with the LMG means that we can drop we don't even reach the 20 stack limit that bringing the big guns provides. So we can actually drop this card with the LMG. And we can do something else, like we could put scatter shot on the LMG. So why don't we do that? It's one optimization that could help. We have one open point, but it's totally okay. I'm gonna close my window because the tractor decided to pull up behind my window. Alright, so looking at the Pip-Boy, we have the same buffs active. We just need to freshen up the canned blight soup. I'm going to use one coffee again just to get through that server lag where you don't get AP returned on crit when the snake is coming through the falls. But look at that AP density. It's huge compared to the Plaz. Way different than the Plaz. The Plaz was drinking it. That reload kills me though. Honestly, it's a pretty bad reload. I think I forgot to do overdrive. Oh shoot, I forgot to do overdrive. Let me restart game. Alright, so we still have a full magazine. We are at 5 bullet storm stacks, which is where we can get it. Let's make sure we do overdrive. Time to beat is 1 minute 15 that the Plaz set. No coffee, no problem. LMG absolutely doesn't need it. 700 max AP is just too much for the LMG. It'll never go through it, even with server delay. I can't see the floor! Oh, no. I knew the tail got me. That's bound to happen. I can't see anything in first person. But the reloads happen so much faster non-PA in first person. I don't know why, but like, watch what happens. Okay, let's dump some rounds here. Look how slow that is. Versus in first person. I don't know, maybe it's just me. The Plaz definitely though. The Plaz has to stop spooling in third person before you can initiate the reload. This doesn't have a spool, so I guess it just doesn't have that problem. But we're gonna pre-stack Bullet Storm here and not fall into the lava, hopefully, this time. I think I'm going to try to help that LMG reload here. We don't really need all this VATS accuracy. We do have the 4-opter buff active, so I'm just kind of going to go on a whim here and say that we just most likely don't need it. We likely have plenty of VATS accuracy. We'll see. If it doesn't say 95%, then we don't have enough VATS accuracy, but if it does, then we're good. Alright, overdrive. Get into high gear. I'm going to try third person because I just can't tell where that tail is. Yeah, we have 95% VATS accuracy, so we're all set. We don't need awareness on the build. It's really far away from me. I can't get my VATS accuracy that good because it's far away and it happens to be right where the break in the ground is, so I can't really get any closer. But hopefully that downranger can help me regain some of the lost damage. 1 minute exactly, 15 seconds faster than the GAT Plaz under the same conditions. So now we have to see if the pepper shaker beats the two. What do you think, gang? Let me know in the comment section. I'm gonna start a poll. You let me know. What's best? 2 minutes with the LMG no buffs no coffee is good. It's right around where it usually is, but it could be a little bit better. Like you could get it around 1:30. It's most likely at 2 minutes because you're getting further away. You have to be really close to the snake, but it should be able to get 1.5 minutes no buffs. Okay, I'm gonna write down on the whiteboard. We have 1 minute exactly. If we do have time for the minigun, George, I will do the minigun. But now this is the fun part. Now we get to talk about optimizing for the pepper shaker because it's totally different. This is where people make the mistake usually, and then they end up thinking the pepper shaker does less damage. And we're gonna see here if it does or not, but it's really important to have the build right for the pepper shaker, because if we look at the perk cards here, there's a specific loadout that we can get from using the pepper shaker because it fires 8 projectiles. First, let's have a look at the pepper shaker I'll be using. The one thing I worry about the pepper shaker is it just might not have enough fire rate to keep me alive when we try all these tests bloodied here in a moment, because I'll be doing a low health version here in a moment and we'll be testing this. Bloodied, we'll do the same test again, bloodied. Alright, let's look at this pepper shaker. I use the bosses from the raids to test builds that are set up for everyday use. They're not all full raid builds. There are some builds on the channel that are full raid builds, complicated, but I intend for you to use these builds everywhere for all content, because if it can drop one of these bosses in the raids in a minute, it's gonna be doing all the DPS it can everywhere else. It doesn't change based on like whatever other enemy you're fighting, right? It's more of a unit of measurement, a test dummy if you want. But all these builds are set up for daily use. They're daily driver builds because I daily drive them. Alright, so we have quad, bullets explode, VATS optimized conductors with the plasma magazine. And this is where people get it wrong. A lot of people put laser because it says on the workbench laser does more damage, but with our testing and doing the math, we have found that plasma is doing about 10k DPS more with the pepper shaker. We've shown this in videos before, and I'll be updating that video because it's overdue because of recent changes to explosive. But basically, yeah, we're using plasma instead of laser for that reason. See, it shows laser doing more energy damage, but yeah, we're getting more out of plasma. That should be corrected soon because currently on the PTS it is fixed. Laser is fixed and doing more damage, so it's definitely a thing. And to answer your question more thoroughly, complicated, you can solo the full raid. I can't, but you can, because I saw someone else do it. Okay, they have a video on it. There's no like voiceover on it, but they basically memorized all the spawns at stage 2 so that they can get through stage 2 solo. Stage 2 is borderline impossible to do solo. In fact, that person is most likely one of the few in the world on the planet, okay, that has the power of Todd behind them or something, because they're able to solo the full raid. I can't, so don't show my cat. But I can't. Leave Glassy out of this. What we're gonna do now is use the pepper shaker, and we're gonna talk about it here. It has the hex barrel, right? The hex barrel is giving us 8 projectiles. Why is that so important? Because of the 8 projectile count on the pepper shaker, it means it can benefit from perk cards that other heavy guns don't. So what we can do is drop easy target for a 2-star easy target instead. This will open up some points. I may not be able to fit everything because we absolutely need that traveling pharmacy. Let's see here. What can we do? We definitely need to squeeze in bringing the big guns. We can drop scatter shot for shotgun champ. With this perk card, this is giving us 10% damage to crippled targets per projectile your weapon fires. So this is giving us 80% more damage because this is projectile count is 10% per projectile, and the pepper shaker is giving us 8 projectiles per shot. So it's giving us 80% more damage just having this card equipped. Did I equip it? No. Okay, there it is. Now it's equipped. We have easy target. Lock and load we definitely need. Tightly wound, I would say we don't actually need. It is nice to have, but because we need that traveling pharmacy, we can't drop this card, or else I'll be over encumbered because I'm not using the through hiker mod on my armor. So that's a pro tip right there. The through hiker 3-star mod on your armor actually opens up 2 points under strength and another 2 points under endurance, allowing for a more optimized build in that regards. But we're getting active on the armor set here so that we have higher max AP density so that we could compare the Gap Plaz, because the Gap Plaz drinks like a fish, and I needed to throw all the AP that I could at this build in order to even make this testing possible and to give the Gap Plaz any form of usability really with this build without slamming coffee. So yeah, this is the build we're gonna start with, and I'm gonna also drop Gunsmith for Demolition Expert because we have Bullets Explode on the build, and recently it was put in the patch notes that they optimized Bullets Explode on weapons that are non-launchers to work with this card here. So we're gonna run it. We're gonna see if it makes a difference. There's another thing that I need to try and see if I can squeeze in, though. It would be so much better to have Love the Spread on the build. I need Love the Spread. What am I gonna do? Maybe we can drop Traveling Pharmacy for Love the Spread, but now I'm over encumbered. So I need to deal with this. We need to change this. The reason why we want Love the Spread is because the Pepper Shaker suffers from range. And with Love the Spread, it gives us 30% more range to the Pepper Shaker. So that's a good thing. This weighs 78 pounds. Okay, let's drop that down a bit. We don't even use stim packs, so I can just drop all of this. There we go. We're good to go. We solved it. I was able to drop it and fit all the cards that we need, so that's good. Let's have one quick look. The only changes that were made again to the build was Demo Expert, and then the perks under strength are specific to the Pepper Shaker. Having Bullet Storm, having Lock and Load, Easy Target at rank 2 so that we can squeeze in Shotgun Champ full rank, bringing the big guns, and Love the Spread. Shotgun Champ's giving the Pepper Shaker 80% more damage, and Love the Spread's giving us 30% more range. I'm gonna go get some toxic goo though so that I can just teleport down to the snake and not have to walk all the way down there. The heck? Don't share any perks though, please, Chris, because I'm doing testing in between weapons, and if you share any perks that give a certain weapon an edge, it's just gonna make the whole testing pointless. So if you don't mind, just don't join the team. Right, because it wouldn't compare to the testing I did earlier with the LMG or the Plaz. Another thing we need to talk about is how fast the Pepper Shaker can stack Bulletstorm. Like you guys saw earlier, it was pretty slow with the Plaz stacking Bulletstorm, and we could only reach 10 Bulletstorm stacks with the LMG. So by swapping weapons, I lose all my Bulletstorm stacks. We're gonna have a look at the Pepper Shaker. It's showing 28 by 8. The minute we start shooting though, I want you to look at the bottom corner of the screen and watch how fast Bulletstorm stacks with this weapon. With the Plaz, it was like 1, 2, 3. But with this weapon, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You see where I'm going with this? You can get up to 180% more damage much faster with the hex barrel on this thing. It gives it an awesome balance of fire rate and Bulletstorm stackability. Just pure mayhem. The bullets explode is super fun. I just love it. Aim down sights or VATS. That was immune super mutant. Apparently, he wasn't taking damage for a bit. One thing I will say I've noticed with the explosive Pepper Shaker is sometimes there's rubber banding. I think that's just inherent with the bullets explode mod on basically any weapon that fires multi-projectiles. The server has a hard time keeping up with it. Let's also test the reload, since we did that for the last 2 weapons. It's not too bad. It's not bad. It's not like the LMG. The LMG's bad with the reload. It feels so slow, but I guess the worst one to me personally is going to be the 50 cal. 50 cal is terrible for the reload. It's a great weapon, but yeah. How much toxic goo do we have? Oh, we're right at 281 weight, so we have to stop right there. Off to the snake. I want to thank you guys for watching. Smash the like button if you're enjoying it. If you learned something, it means a lot. Helps the stream get out there to viewers who may have missed the stream notification. GG. Big Play Ray Ray with the 20 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Everyone who received a membership, you now have access to GLASSGANG only content and will see your name on the official GLASSGANG roster for the next 30 days. Check out our GLASSGANG members only live streams on Thursdays. GG. Also, check out the Discord link in description. You don't need an active membership to join our Discord. It's free. All right. I'm gonna get my loot goblin back in here. Get rid of rods. Well, that's the thing. I'm not a big fan of power armor for that. It's really buggy. It's very clunky feeling when walking around. And exactly like you mentioned, the stuck power armor glitch where you're stuck there for a whole minute just staring at your power armor. It just doesn't happen at all when you're not in power armor. But naturally, it's a completely different animal. You're nowhere near as tanky. So you have to optimize very specifically to survive, like soloing the snake like this, especially when I'm bloodied. Bloodied will be much harder later. It'll be a good test to see which weapon is best to use bloodied, and my money's on the LMG. It just has the fire rate to support staying alive, whereas the Plaz just barely has enough fire rate to support staying alive because of that conductor's proccing and basically stimming you through a bunch of damage. And the pepper shaker, I think, is gonna fail at that part where it just isn't gonna be enough fire rate to stay alive. So that's just where I'm putting my money. Let's look at effects, make sure it's all the same. We have the accuracy boost, we have big guns, we have Tesla 9, we have blight soup. Let's give it cooked soft shell meat. We have 674 max AP. That's close enough. Yeah. We're just gonna do overdrive once we get to the snake and then go. Wait, I'm still over encumbered. What's happening? How do you guys like my new helmet though? This is for when the tail falls on my head. Alright. Let's make sure we have stacked Bulletstorm just to keep this a fair comparison. We're going to stack it up to 20 and then reload and have 10 stacks of Bulletstorm and start from there. See that? That is really long. I'll have to do this in first person. It's the only way to avoid waiting for the spool up to stop spooling so that you can reload. Otherwise, you have to wait and it just makes your reloads so much worse. It's gonna be hard though with the tail. First person is difficult for that. Overdrive. Don't know why we lose VATS accuracy when the snake gets closer to us. That is really strange. I've always found that kind of weird. I don't know where the snake tail fell. Okay, it's there. We're only at 40%. Look at that. We're not landing very many shots. But that's okay. We're doing the best we can. The pepper shaker, like I said, just struggles from range. Where's the snake? (1 minute, 6 seconds). very close to that LMG. I'm gonna say what it's coming down to is the LMG's just not having that delay with the spool up, and it's just more noticeable non-PA. Also, when you're using the power armor, you have access to other perks that improve its VATS accuracy, its total range and stability and stuff like that. That's a perk card under science that helps with that. Let's have a look at it here in a moment. But now we have to do all the same tests but bloodied. This is where the rubber meets the road. You guys are going to see a huge difference here. Let's look at the perk card I was talking about though. This here only works in power armor. 30% more accuracy. That helps a lot. That's why, like, I'm only at a minute versus the same build as a human would be sub-minute. It would be around 45 to 50 seconds with the pepper shaker. But we don't have access to this 30% more accuracy, so that's where it's at. That's where the floor is for this weapon when it comes to accuracy. I kind of want to do another run though, because I feel like this run was a little bit sloppy. And what do you guys think? Should we do another run with the pepper shaker? I'll let you guys vote before we get into doing bloodied. Drop a like, gang. Hit subscribe if you're new. If you learned something and you're enjoying the stream, it helps the stream get out there to more viewers. Alright, so we can drop the 308. We definitely don't need that on us. Definitely don't want to scrap my LMG, so we'll put that away. Yeah, you have to be as close as you can with the snake to get the most out of the pepper shaker because it really does struggle with range. So yes, 11 votes voted. We are at 91% to 9. So let's do another run with the pepper shaker. One more. I do feel like that run was a little bit sloppy because I had to like do a double take to try and figure out where the tail was, so I wouldn't land in the lava. Oh neat! It works again! Perfect! This wasn't working for a while, so I couldn't show you guys my controller, but now I can. I forgot to check, and it looks like it's working. So you guys will be able to see what buttons I'm pressing and how I'm using the build. You'll notice that I basically just hold Y the entire time in VATS. That's mainly why that's there for, because you wouldn't believe how many people actually try to spam it when they're using a crit build like this, and it's set up to crit every other shot, and when a weapon has a fire rate of 114, it means it fires 114 rounds in 10 seconds. You're not going to spam it fast enough. You have to hold the button down the entire time you're in VATS. I was muted that whole time. Oh my god. Oh my god. No. Why? I can't believe it. I was muted that whole time. Oh dear. Well, I hope you saw the armor set. Let me know if you have any questions about it. That's it basically. I have the strengthened armor limb mods. I just want to make sure that you got why they're on there instead of deep pocketed. Is because of the snake. The snake can cripple you, and when it cripples you, when you're non-PA, you have to stop shooting and stim yourself and then start shooting again to fix that cripple, or else you can't target the eyes. So when you're crippled, you can't target the eyes and VATS. You can only target the head. You can't target any other area of the snake. So that's why we have the strength and armor limb mods on each piece. That combined with the perk card, Adamantium Skeleton, makes us basically invulnerable to getting crippled at all. I never get crippled. And that's allowing for, just getting faster times because we don't have to stop and stim. The only two non-PA power armor sets that are in the top non-PA armors that have access to the strength and armor limb mod is Civil Engineer and Brotherhood of Steel. So if you're wondering if you can use this build with Secret Service, you can, but it won't be pretty because the snake will stagger you and cripple you all the time. Okay, I think that covers it. Oh yeah, the shielded long johns, just want to make sure I covered this. 2 perception, +3 agility, +5 luck. All those points help with your VATS build. The two perception helps with more VATS accuracy. +3 agility helps with AP density. That's more points to use in VATS. And then +5 luck helps us reach that luck to crit threshold that we need to crit every other shot in VATS. So that's the luck to crit ratio you need right there, depending on how many limit breaking pieces you need. Let's say you have 3 limit breaking on your armor set, then it needs to say 37 luck in your Pip-Boy in order to crit every second shot. Alright, let's run it. Just gotta make sure everything's right. Exactly like the previous tests. And then we try Bloodied. Yeah, everything's good. We just have to do overdrive and start. We have bullets in the gun, that's good. Sometimes the poison blast can actually break your VATS, which is super annoying. One minute exactly. Holy smokes. I was not expecting it to actually do better that time. I thought we were going to sit at about 1:10. Dang, so it tied with the LMG. Okay, I think having awareness helped though. We definitely had to put awareness on this build for the Pepper Shaker because the VATS accuracy was just far too low. Your mule is inside? Yes, the Anto. My mule is inside. That's okay. They're here to just get more loot for me because doing these build guides all the time is really hard on the resources. And I need as much as I can get, right? So she's in here just for that. It doesn't change anything about the build. She's not shooting. She just dies immediately. Alright, so before we test the low health versions of the build, the Plaz came in at 1:15 best time. 1 minute 15 seconds under the same conditions. The pepper shaker came in at 1 minute exactly best time under the same conditions, and the LMG also came in at 1 minute exactly. Very cool. Very interesting. Now we're gonna see just how drastic of a change it becomes when you go low health, because survivability is key here. And what's going to depend on your survivability is the weapon's fire rate and how often crits can return conductor's proc, which is going to give you that health, that plus 10 health and action points instantly. Having that 10 health instantly every other shot is crucial for staying alive when you're already at low health, when you're using a low health build. And from my personal experience, it's not going to be too good with the pepper shaker. I'm not sure if we'll even get a single kill with the pepper shaker bloodied. I'm just telling you guys straight up. But without spoiling it, I have no idea how the Plaz is going to do. The Plaz should do okay. I think it has just enough fire rate to keep you alive bloodied. So let's get bloodied. Let's make the changes to the build. We're going to start with the pepper shaker though, because I have less to change about it. We're just going to drop good with salt for Nerd Rage. And that's basically all we're doing to it. This will give us, while your health is low, gain increased damage and AP regen. And we're also going to jump in Unyielding Armor. It's the same armor set. It's the same build. It's the same 3rd star, 2nd star, and 4th star mods. It just has Unyielding. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships, KingShots89. GG. Really appreciate it. Alright, let's switch this armor set to Unyielding. First thing you're going to notice is we're at around 700 max AP. We're still at 700 max AP. That's because we're not bloodied yet. So let's get bloodied. But it's just to show you that the 2nd star and 3rd star being active and agility are giving us that same amount from base. So let's jump that up by doing Toxic Goo and getting bloodied. So it still says +2, so that means we need to get a little bit more bloodied. We're at 824 max AP. That's without anyone on the team. As soon as someone joins, it's up to 873. And of course, with like camp buffs giving us another +40 to that, it just goes way up. You can get it up to 1000 max AP, but we don't need that. It's too much for this build. We're gonna do pemmican though to bring up that HP. I always do pemmican. It helps squeeze out a little more health points so that you have more health density at low health. I fully expect this build to not survive at all, so I'm just giving you guys that heads up. The game just landlocked my mule. Basically, it just gave it so much power armor parts that I just had to drop them all. Alright, there's no way around that. What was all that? What was with all that power armor? It feels like the game drops more power armor pieces than anything else. So we have 36 luck now because of that unyielding, giving us +3 per piece, per limb. And because of that, I do have one tankies mod So every other piece is limit breaking, but we're just trying to get more survivability out of this build. It's gonna be rough is what I'm saying. I really don't think that Pepper Shaker has the fire rate to keep the bloodied non-PA build alive. We'll see though, maybe I'm wrong. It's just the fire rate is so much lower than the LMG. It has a fire rate of 61, I believe, which means it fires 61 shots in 10 seconds. We're gonna have to see. If I was muted, Psycho Buff is just a 25% damage additive bonus, and it's okay. It's better than nothing. But when we look at what Overdrive gives us, it gives us 15% damage, but it also gives us 30% to critical damage. This is a crit build set up to crit every second shot. So we're maximizing our crit damage here with Overdrive. This will give you better results, basically. You'll do more damage on crit, which is what's carrying this build. The crit damage is carrying the build, basically. It's a lot of damage. I'm not saying Overdrive is carrying the build. Don't clip that, my god. I'm just saying, basically, Overdrive is better in this case because it is a critical damage boost, and this is a crit build. So it will do more for you than Psycho Buff. Is Explosive better than Rapid for the Shaker? Or is that just being tested? Explosive is better than Rapid for the Pepper Shaker because with the Demo Expert, it actually adds 200 damage per shot, so it shoots 8 pellets and it's like 25 more damage per pellet, so it's giving us 200 damage per shot. And what ends up happening with Rapid on the Pepper Shaker, I don't know why everyone wants to run Rapid on the Pepper Shaker, it's just not the best way to run it. The Rapid mod, all it does is it increases your base fire rate by 25% of what it is. So 25% of 61 is 11. The fire rate is already really low on the Pepper Shaker, so it doesn't get as much out of putting on Rapid. Rapid's more beneficial for weapons that have high base fire rate. So like the LMG or the Plaz or the Gauss Mini, they get a huge DPS increase from 25% of 140 rather than 25% of 61. You see what I mean? It is one of those things where you just don't get much out of Rapid. We can try it, but I don't think it'll make a difference. I know it won't make a difference, really. Bullets Explode does more for this weapon in this case, because for those shots that are landing, it packs more of a punch. Because it's almost the same amount of shots. It's only 11 shots more in 10 seconds. It's not a lot. Alright, let's teleport down there. It's interesting to see that tie, though, for high health between the Pepper Shaker and the LMG. That was cool. That's something for me to tell the Orange Cowboy about. Alright, so let's fix our rods here. We're gonna get... We need to get under 20%, so we're at 19 now, so that we can get that +3 to all stats from unyielding. So there we go, currently +3 from unyielding. And we're at 784 with no one on the team. So I'm gonna get my loot mule inside the raids. Again, just so that she gets extra loot for me to get the most out of this testing and to try and get back what I lose from having to change these builds around all the time and update them. So it's one of those things. I have to do everything I can. It's not going to change anything about the DPS output of this build. Having her inside, she's not shooting at the snake. She's just standing there. She gets killed almost immediately. And she just gets more rewards for me. Would crippling be usable for serving star... For second star on Eno 6, yeah, actually crippling is better with the pepper shaker at Eno 6 because it drops the shield so fast. How are you getting straight to the snake? It's on the channel. It's a video. I can't show you how on stream I would get banned. This is just for testing the weapons, not showing you how to get to the snake. Alright, so just right off the bat, I'm going to tell you guys, I really don't think it's going to live. I don't think this character will be able to survive at low health without better fire rate, basically. Let's fix the buffs, though, so that they're all the same as previously. So we're going to do Tesla Science 9. We're gonna do... What else? We have Big Guns, Bobblehead, Tesla Science 9, Blight Soup, Company T. It's all the same. All we gotta do is overdrive. I don't think we're gonna live, gang. Wish me luck, okay? I can't hear anything. I don't have my headphones on, so I have no idea where the tail's gonna land. We're gonna die! Somehow I survived. There's no way! Oh no, yeah, okay. Well, the pool, yeah, I was standing above the pool, so that's not good. Shoot, alright. Well, attempt number 2. Does Scattershot apply Center Masochist on the snake? No. You can't target the torso on the snake, Green Ghost, so you don't want to use Center Masochist at the snake. But Scattershot doesn't apply any other perk. It applies the Scattershot perk. It basically just applies 20% of the limb damage you're doing to a limb to other limbs. So, alright, let's try again. I knew we were gonna die, but let's try some food buffs that might increase our survivability a little bit. What can we do? What can we do? Let's see what we got. We can try Deathclaw Egg Omelet, Deathclaw Steak. We already have Pemmican active, but I'll refresh it just in case. Yeah, I think we're just cooked here, gang. I don't think it'll really make a difference. The fire rate on the pepper shaker is just not high enough to sustain my life. But first we need to get under 20% health. There we go. Good to go. Also, maybe if we had Born Survivor? Wait a sec. If we have Born Survivor, we need stim packs. Because I didn't have any auto stimming. I was just relying solely on conductors to keep me alive. So we're going to have a few stim pack supers on me, but they weigh a ton, so I can't have too many. Okay, we have 10 stacks of Bulletstorm. Let's make sure that we have all the same perks here again. So we just need to refresh Overdrive and the canned Blight Soup. So we'll do that here and there. Wherever it is. Hello? Looks like I left it over there. We need to go back for Overdrive to keep these tests the same. But we're gonna try 3 times. If I can't get the kill in 3 runs, if I die 3 times, then that's just not enough survivability for me to say that it's doable. It's just not worth your time at that point with that weapon. The build does absolutely work with some of the weapons, like the LMG, as we saw with other build guides and other live streams. But the Pepper Shaker struggles because of that lower fire rate to keep me alive. Do I have Overdrive? Yes. But one more thing. Sorry, I keep going into my Pip-Boy. We just need to make sure that I have... Oh wait, I don't have science equipped. I don't think we can squeeze it in either. Wow, I was able to drop batteries included and still be fine. That's good. So let's put in science. Is Overeater still a choice for top human health build? It's not the top choice. It's a lot of management to get the full buff out of it. You need like 1,000 HP, so it's a lot. It's a lot of very specific dynamics to your build, like having +2 endurance on every piece of armor, doing all the food buffs that stack that increase endurance. If you want a solid choice, what changed with Overeaters is now, it used to be a 6% damage reduction per piece. Now, if you look at mutants, the mutants like mutations, armor piece or legendary mod, the 1-star mod, that gives you 5% damage reduction per piece now. So it's basically the old version of Overeaters, but just slightly less. It's still really good. It's really strong. It's what I used the entire time for the first 3 sets of tests and got the 1-minute times with the weapons with that mutant's armor. It's really solid. Okay, Overdrive, and we're getting into it. I don't expect to live, but this is for science. Tankies totally saved my butt that time. We actually got it! 51 seconds! Holy smokes! I'm not gonna lie, gang, I'm really impressed with that. I was not expecting it. Dang! 51 seconds! We absolutely might have found my new favorite non-PA heavy gun. That was pretty good. That was fun. I was not expecting it to survive. But it's definitely more of a dangerous build. Like, basically, I'm not using sentinels or anything, and I do have another armor set ready to go with sentinels that I was gonna switch to in case we kept dying all the time, but we don't even need it. That's so cool. Yeah, Born Survivor is definitely a must. It absolutely helped. And another part too that I was doing that you guys probably didn't notice was I was just making sure to not stand in a puddle of lava. Whenever the snake is doing its poison blast thing, if you stand in one spot, right after the poison blast starts, a poison pool opens up under your feet. So you have to like be aware of that and be moving when that poison blast starts so that the poison pool doesn't pool up under you and you start taking too much damage. That was really good. Should we try again? Do you guys want to see another run, or should I move on to the next weapon? I think that was really solid. I don't think I can beat it. That was a clean run. I don't think I can beat it. I'll let you guys decide while I set up this other snake. Smash the like button to hit subscribe if you're new and turn on bell notifications. I live stream and upload weekly Fallout 76 character build guides. This time, if we're doing another test with the pepper shaker, I think I'm going to try to up the survivability even further. Notice how the armor set I'm using, it doesn't have sentinels, right? We just have the max AP, which we don't really need. We kind of have overkill max AP just from the get-go with this. The pepper shaker doesn't need that much. It's more so for the gap Plaz. So what I'm going to do, I had 2 armor sets on me. I'm going to drop Unyielding with the max AP, and for this second round, we're going to see if we can improve survivability even more and add more tankiness through adding an armor set that has more tankiness inherently from, what is it, sentinels. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not good. Where's the 5th piece? This one. Well, that's what we're doing right now. Obviously, we didn't need the 5 elementalists, and the reason for that build is simple. It's because we really have high endurance with some of the food buffs I'm doing. Plus, we get natural resistance on the build, which is the same thing basically. It increases your elemental resistances based on your endurance while not diseased. So this is helping a lot with that from the snake, the poison. But this build, this armor set that I'm switching to now, is essentially the same thing except for the 2nd star and 3rd star. This build has elementalist and sentinels. So we're gonna see. Does this overall, this should technically improve survivability. Agility wasn't doing anything for us for survivability. Neither was the max AP from active. So these 2 mods we're adding to the build now is just survivability mods, right? Sentinels is giving us 5% damage reduction per piece while standing still, and so I have to remember to stand still for the headbutt strike, absolutely, okay, or else it does nothing for me. And also the elemental resist on top of our natural resistance perk, helping us with even further poison damage resist. Holy shoot, I don't even think I had evasive or serendipity on the build. What the heck? I just thought of that. Those are like key survivability perks that I usually have on my unyielding builds because of that. The non-PA especially. We don't even have them. Holy shoot. Okay. Alright, let's drop pack and light then, and let's put on evasive. So we have really high agility because of the unyielding. This will help evasive proc more, which is just a chance to evade attacks based on agility. And then we do have serendipity. Okay, so thank God for that. We did have serendipity helping us out there quite a bit, I think. While below 30% health, gain a chance to evade based on luck. Basically the same thing that evasive is doing under agility, but these two work together. Alright, so even more survivability added to the build. We got 51 seconds though. I don't think I can beat that. So let's get bloodied. We're at 534 max AP without the +2 agility mods, without the active mods. Still plenty of AP. You really only need around 300 AP with the pepper shaker to stay in VATS. So this is still overkill technically. This is the armor set we're going with. So I'm getting my mule here in the world so I can double up on my loot. Accuracy boost is still active. Big guns is still active. Tesla Science 9 still active. We'll just have to do overdrive. Everything else is still good. Come on in here, mini glass. So we'll do overdrive and get the party started. I just have to remember to stand still when the strike happens, the headbutt strike. It is the most difficult part to survive, or attack to survive when bloodied and solo. So we're gonna do this here. So yeah, we got plenty of max AP even with less max AP. I'm gonna reload at the headbutt strike like I always do. This saves time. Lets me regen lost AP as well. And I'm gonna move out of the way of the pool that just opened up under me. "51 seconds. Again. Holy cow. Okay, it felt a lot tankier that time. I was watching my health and it was barely moving. I was a lot tankier that time. Oh snap. I might just have a new favorite build. I don't know. This isn't much different though than the LMG build. The LMG gets around, well, 53 seconds on this build typically. Holy smokes. Pepper Shaker is surprising me tonight. Because the last time I tried this, it wasn't surviving. maybe I just had some things wrong. Glad I revisited it for sure, because this is really nice to see. Survivability is really good. I think it's worthy of doing its own build guide. Holy cow! Alright, now we're going to test the Plaz. The Plaz absolutely needs all the max AP it can get though, so we're going to have to switch to that other armor set I was using earlier with the max AP. I really should label these, but I'm too lazy. Don't let Todd see the stream. It's not that big of a deal. These builds aren't that OP. There are faster builds and that require a lot more min-maxing, a lot more management of buffs, a lot more you know, that do more DPS than this, Dale Cooper. It's not that big of a deal. In fact, this is a really balanced build. It's balanced because we're end game here to do this, right? You have to be pretty deep into the game to be able to understand the mechanics I'm using here and what we're doing and get some of these mods that I have. So no, it's not OP. I don't fear a nerf at any point because they've been nerfing and changing everything the past 2 years, and what we saw when we did our heavy gunner tier list and commando tier list was that there's like three top choices, and then everything else under it is only a little bit faster, and everything else under it is all grouped together doing around the same DPS. So it's not something I think is really going to get nerfed again. Maybe the Gals Mini might get nerfed, I think, more than anything. But, I mean, this isn't, these 1 minute times isn't too crazy. Even if they do, Dale Cooper, every single time they do, we always re-optimize and get our 1 minute times back. You know, saying that just implies that you're kind of new to the channel. Not trying to be rude or anything, but yeah, how many times have they nerfed me, gang? And then we're right back to 1 minute times after 2 weeks. It is what it is. We do what we gotta do to survive. Okay, so for the Plaz, we need to switch to the Plaz, obviously. So let's drop the pepper shaker. Yep. So let's go down there and start up another snake. Testing the Plaz this time with a low health build. Low health, the pepper shaker dropped by like 10 seconds. So Nerd Rage really is doing something for us. I was under the impression that perk was busted, but it really is working. Well, GG, welcome, Dale Cooper. Don't be shy, ask questions. I'll give you a good example of, like, one time they nerfed the Elder's Mark. We were getting like 48 seconds with it, just under a minute. They nerfed it. We changed it from 2-shot to quad. We got our minute times back, or our sub-minute times back. You can still get 45s. Stuff like that. We just always have to tweak stuff. There's so much you can do, so much you can perk, so much you can move around and re-optimize. It's basically what we've been doing here for 2 years. Just every single time I put out a build, it's around a minute solo at a boss. That's my threshold. I get it down to that, and then I'm cut, print, ship. You know what I mean? because I also optimize for daily use and to have quality of life perks, it just means that I need to cut some corners here and there, which is good for two things. It's good to make the build a daily driver, but it also leaves the build open in the future for more optimizations that might increase damage in case some nerfs happen. Can the V63 carbine keep up with the heavy guns? Yes, under certain conditions, especially aim down sights, it's a freaking beast because it has such high AP cost, and when you have a high AP cost, you can get a lot of damage out of Number Cruncher. This gives you 2% increased damage per AP cost, and some weapons like the Vault 63 carbine are between like 20 and 30 action point cost. So that's 2% per point. You can get a lot of damage from your V63 with this perk card, and it's pretty good. Definitely a solid choice. It's just hard to use in VATS because of that, because it has a very high AP cost, so it doesn't stay in VATS very long, and it forces you into AP buffs to sustain your VATS, but it's definitely an option if you have it. I'm gonna get my mule back in here. Sorry guys. We just got to get the most out of these runs, because setting up this test for you guys took a lot of resources. Obviously, I had to build 3 armor sets and 3 different weapons, and yeah, the reserves are low, is what I'm saying, gang. The reserves are low, but we do our best around here to make them disappear and give them the old 2-tap. Gave myself the old 2-tap. I'm really pleased with that pepper shaker. And think of it, okay? The LMG can get those times, right? Like we saw with my build guide and yielding LMG 53-second solo snake. It can get those same times too. But it has a much higher rate of fire, which means it's spending a lot more ammo to do it. The pepper shaker only has a fire rate of 61. For it to reach that DPS and actually exceed it, it's hitting like a truck per shot, okay? It is hitting hard. Alright, so we're bloodied. I'll make sure I only have Stimpack Supers on me because, again, we're bloodied. Stimpack Supers are best when bloodied. We're going to go and prep our overdrive. Where's the overdrive? We need more overdrive. I want to shout out Chris again for the overdrive drop. Made further testing possible. Thank you so much. Okay, Mini Glass is inside the raid. She's good to go to be my loot goblin. And yeah, we're gonna make sure we have overdrive. I do believe we do. We do have overdrive. We have accuracy boost, but only for 2 minutes. Oh shoot. Okay, we need to go. We have 769 max AP. It looks like we're pretty much good to go. But with the Gap Plaz, remember gang, I do have to use canned coffee here. Just 1 canned coffee will do, because it just doesn't like the snake coming through the waterfall. We lose so much AP when that happens because we're not landing. It's like Conductors doesn't proc through the waterfall thingy phase, like right here, and we lose a lot of AP. So I don't want to lose my AP bar right away. I did forget to, oh shoot, hang on, I forgot to re-optimize for the Gap Plaz. My bad, we need to start again. Because the build is currently set up for the pepper shaker and it just won't do as much for the Gap Plaz. So let's actually go back to my camp and redo the VATS accuracy buff to keep everything fair and square. Started this year and just getting into full endgame content. Loving the videos and streams, great insight into the builds and awesome weapons. I hope you're enjoying it, and if you have any questions, don't be shy, ask under the videos. I always try to answer whoever I can. The only time I don't answer a question is if it's just obviously answered by watching the video, but that's about the only time that I don't answer a question. What's going on here? We froze? I can't move. Nothing's working. Okay, so we're having technical difficulties, gang. The stream will resume after this reboot. Have you tried fire rate on the pepper shaker instead of explosive? Like I said, we're getting 200 more damage per shot with explosive. It's going to do a lot more damage than the 11 fire rate that 25% of 61 adds. Rapid is much better off, much better suited on weapons that have high fire rate from base because it's 25% of that number. And if that number is only 61, for example, of the pepper shaker, it's firing 61 shots in 10 seconds and 25% of that's 11. So it's only going to give us 11 more shots in that 10 seconds. Not a huge buff. And so we're getting a lot more with explosive. We tested this excessively, me and the Orange Cowboy, to come up with that conclusion, and it's why we always run the pepper shaker with bullets explode. Rapid just doesn't do as much as bullets explode for the pepper shaker. There we go. We're back in the world. No, my controller just is busted, apparently. What the heck's going on? Oh, okay, we're good again. Okay, we're good to go. Sorry for the long wait there, gang. I appreciate you guys watching, tuning in, hanging out with me this Monday afternoon. Or nighttime, I guess. It's 10 p.m. actually right now. Holy shoot. It's already pretty late. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I appreciate it, Delight. Happy to help. Fire rate does work better with some options. It's definitely a solid, oh shoot. Shoot, my camp's not here. We need my camp. I do need my, unless they have a 4-opter. If they have a 4-opter, we can bum it. We can use their 4-opter. But I need a 4-opter buff. No, shoot, we don't have one. Okay, let's maybe go, do I have, yeah, I have this camp. This one has the 4-opter, so let's just go there. Cute camp, though. UK, so 2 a.m. here. Wow, that's really late. Well, GG. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out. Helping out, too. Dropping that overdrive. Really appreciated. Barely have time to farm it, so. Washington here. Just under you. That's right. You're like an hour behind me, so it's not so bad for you. Check it out! This is a camp I made to make look like, if you've ever played New Vegas, I decorated it to look like the Prospector Saloon. It is the Prospector prefab thingy. I think I did a good job. I don't know. Maybe if you're a camp builder, you like camps, you can let me know. This is what's powering the place. And our medical devices are in the bathroom. Yes, for maximum sanitary purposes. Yeah, I know it's a dump. At least it's not teal-colored bathroom, right? Actually, it would technically match better. That's probably what I should do. Alright, so let's get mini glass in the world and get the party started. I got a terrible sleeping pattern, so don't seem too late for me. Yo, me too. Mainly because I stay up awake at night hoping my channel isn't nuked the next day. Like, I literally lose sleep over this. It's so sad. Start a YouTube channel. It will be fun, they said. It actually is a lot of fun. I started this just as a place to upload my gaming footage. It was just a hobby. It was just something to do to pass the time, you know. because, you know, with my disability, I'm home all the time. I can't get a job, can't really do much, and it ended up snowballing. So it's like what they say, time passes anyway. So it just takes time, but time passes anyway, sort of a thing. And if you build it, they will come. Aquamarine. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Aquamarine. I actually like the sound of that better than teal, to be honest. On again, off again. Player returning to the game. What is the crosshair icon for the HUD on the bottom right? I know the bullet is onslaught, but I can't find a legend for the crosshair. The bullet storm isn't the crosshair. It's not. The bullet storm is a little stack of bullets. So when I start shooting, you're going to see at the bottom right of the screen the little bullet storm stack. There it is. So that's one bullet storm stack. That's two. But when I shoot at an enemy, that's when you're going to see it change to also having the crosshair icon, which is the onslaught stacks. Bro, can you not? Trying to get on a team with Mimi Glass. Okay. I started following your videos since I started the game new. Now I completed the game and I'm level 850. That's amazing, Delight. GG. Let's go. Heck yeah, putting in the work. So I'm going to swap to getting my main mule in here and take the easy way down, the elevator I call it. Is Beam Splitter worse for the Gatling Plasma? It's actually better if you're using it no VATS, like an aim down sight build, manually aiming it. It will do better with the Beam Splitter. But because we're trying to stay in VATS here as long as possible to get crit shots in so that we do more DPS through crit damage, we have to be able to sustain our VATS long enough to do that. And we're going to use coffee here just a little bit to show you the example of that. Okay, what are we at? We're at 20 HP, so I just need to do Deathclaw egg omelet, Deathclaw steak. Just want to make sure my HP and stuff is good to be nice and tanky. Pemmican. Same buffs as earlier, basically. Let's have a look. We do have carnivore serum, but we need to refresh it, so let's do that. By popping the carnivore mutation serum, it gives us access to buffs on either side of the mutation spectrum, allowing me to get bonuses from buffs that I otherwise would not, that are only accessible to herbivores, like Blight Soup. Blight Soup's super easy to craft. You just need blight and boiled water. It grows in the hundreds across the area in the ash heap right outside the raids. There's a blight tree, literally like 10 feet from the entryway. So you can grab it, get water, craft it. You get 50% crit damage as a carnivore and 100% crit damage as a herbivore. But like I said, the only reason I'm able to even get 50% crit damage here is because I popped my carnivore mutation, which suppresses the negative side effect. If we look in the Pip-Boy carnivore serum, 59 minutes for a whole hour, it suppresses the negative side effects of the mutation, allowing us access to that buff and other buffs if we wanted to. If we wanted to do other herbivore buffs like XP bonus buffs and stuff like that. Tesla Science 9 is good, but it has been an hour, so it is time to top up on Big Guns Bobblehead. We'll do that. Gonna make sure that I have my overdrive as well. Where is it? Right here, overdrive, good to go. I'm gonna do 3 coffee this time around. The first time around we only did 1 coffee with the Plaz, but I just want to show you guys how much the Plaz loves coffee, and you really don't need that much of it, because you might not have the ability to stack your agility buffs and have, you know, the active mod, the 3-star mod that I have, because it is a pretty hard mod to get through drops on bounty. But what you can do instead is just use coffee. If you farm coffee, you can farm it through doing setting up workshops in a private world or something, or just camp hopping. I actually get a lot of coffee from just hopping player camps and then server hopping when I run out. And just a lot of people have their coffee machines open, so you can actually farm 4 per visit and just keep server hopping and just yeah, basically taking people's coffee. Hey, it's the way of the wasteland, gang. It's lore accurate. Okay, I just gotta drop these half-empty cores here so that we have good cores. Coffee thief? Dang right. Hey, if you leave it open, it's open. You know what I mean? I used to do worse. I used to lockpick coffee machines. Times were tough. Before everyone had a coffee machine, times were really tough. Now everyone has it because they keep throwing it on every scoreboard. They made it available for gold too, I think. And yeah, exactly. Most people don't care. Most people leave their collectors open, so... But I don't lockpick anymore. I made a video about it and you guys all told me you didn't like that I was lockpicking it, so I don't do it anymore. I listen to you guys. Okay, let's have a look. What do we got? Last call here. We gotta make sure it's all good. Blight soup. Yes. 774 max AP. Yes. Solid. We're good to go. We just need Mini Glass in the raid and on the team so that she gets rewards. So that I can keep doing these build guides. Taught us early to steal before you feel. Yes. Hey, I'm a raider at heart, okay? It's the way of the wasteland. Don't judge me. Yeah, I actually made a whole video on getting coffee, and one of the tips was like, this is a pro tip. Just server hop people's camps, and even if it's locked, lock pick that stuff. Okay, times are hard out here. I thought it was funny. Some people thought it was funny. Some of you didn't, so... Now listen to you guys, though. I was like, you know what? Maybe times aren't so hard anymore. Okay, mini glasses in the world. So this time I'll just do 3 coffee to start here. I gotta do my overdrive buff, though. Sorry that I keep going in my Pip-Boy. I'm gonna lock it so that I can stop dropping it. There you go. 1, 2, 3. What that does is it gives us a stack of AP regen. 12 points of AP of action points per second every 25 seconds. And it stacks. You can actually stack up to 30 of them. And it just does a wild effect of having just near constant... Oh, my weapon is about to break! Recently it kind of... changed where... Okay, let's just restart here. I'm mumbling. I also had to fix my GLASSGANG, so that wasn't very good. Let's restart. It's funny till it's your coffee, yeah. Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I stopped doing it, gang. I learned, okay? I'm a better person today. Because of you guys. Oh, I didn't think this stream was gonna get so deep. But here we are. Learning about life together. You can learn from my mistakes. $822 max AP now. That's because someone joined my team, so that's why. Let's give the pepper shaker a little bit more coffee. What if we do 5? Or what if I just stack? I just want to show you guys how crazy it is when you stack a bunch of coffee. Let's do 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We were at 86. We're at 76. Look at that AP. It's not going nowhere. This is how we used to do our AP builds before we got conductors. Conductors made it possible to gain AP regen on crit, which made it the new infinite option and not have to... Oh my god! It nearly pushed me off the freaking platform! What the heck? I landed in the... It dragged me in. It sometimes does that, gang. It's just the way it is. It's not the survivability of the build. It's just... Okay. It drags you in sometimes, and that's what it did. Did you see how far I was into the lava? That's no joke. A bug that's been around since the start of the raids. Oh, shoot. Are you for real right now? Okay, let's just restart again so that we can try to get... things to act right. Hang on, I'll start the snake here so that it pulls in mini glass, and then we can start by dying so that we get the map to be fixed. This is another weird bug that happens. I answered your last question, Ethan Foyer. I'm not sure why you're tripping, but what's your question, my guy? Everything looks good. The platform is back to normal. We have 9 stacks of Bulletstorm. We're pretty much good to go. We're just gonna do overdrive, and we have to start with some coffee because of the way, the nature of it. With the snake coming through the falls, it always breaks things and AP doesn't return on crit. So I'm just gonna do 1 coffee though this time so you guys see the difference. See my AP draining now? It's not enough to completely sustain it like the 10 coffee that I did earlier. So unfortunately with the Plaz, it just has such a high fire rate that the AP cost isn't low enough to make it usable with just conductors alone. We basically still have to use coffee with it, no matter how much AP density we have. I mean, we have 800 max AP right now, and it's still just nowhere near enough. And we're gonna go for the kill, hopefully. Oh my god! Thank you so much for the $100 super chat, Ray Ray. Come on, come on. Give me that AP regen back, please. Just keep running out of AP. I'm not gonna do it. We're at 1 minute 15 here, which is what it would have been, which makes sense because it's the same times we got earlier at high health. We're not seeing a big difference in damage bloodied with the Plaz. We're gonna run it with coffee though. We're gonna sustain it with coffee. Thank you so much again, Ray Ray. GG. But yeah, I just want to show you guys how much better it is with coffee. It's not actually hard to stock up on coffee, it's just time consuming. But the Plaz will get 1 minute 15, either way, bloodied or high health. That's what we were at here with this run, so I'm going to count it. But this time, I just didn't want to finish it, so I didn't have to set it up all over again, you know what I mean? Because I want to show you like how it performs with just a nice little coffee spam. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh shoot! I'm not bloodied! Oh shoot, okay, we're starting again. That's how it goes sometimes. This character is always over encumbered. Oh, it was the same question? I did answer your question, Ethan Vor, but I guess maybe I was muted, potentially, because I did answer that question where I said that the crosshair was Onslaught and the little bullet storm is the little bullet icon. See, if you look at the bottom right of my screen, you'll see the bullet stack, and then number 10, that's bullet storm. When I start hitting the snake, you're going to see the crosshairs, and that's Onslaught. That's from these perks here. You don't need Furious on the weapon to activate Onslaught. So if you don't have Furious and you're still seeing the Onslaught and you're wondering why, that's why. We actually don't need Love the Spread, so I'm going to quickly swap this out for Scatter Shot. And we don't need Shotgun Champ, so we're going to drop Easy Target and put rank 3 on there. And Tightly Wound so our weapon spins up faster. There we go. This is something I forgot to do earlier. So let's just run it. But first I need to get bloodied fully. There we go. We'll do Overdrive and... oh yeah, we gotta do coffee too. So this time I'm gonna spam it for real. There we go, 251 from 261. That's 10 coffee. This is a good coffee spam right here. Does really good damage. Like if you still want to run the Plaz, this is honestly the best way. You can throw all the max AP you want, but because it's mathematically AP negative, it just means that the fire rate is too high for that AP cost of 9 to be meaningful enough to sustain your VATS without completely draining. Oh no. Okay, well sometimes you do die bloodied. It just is what it is. I don't think I was standing still enough for that headbutt strike. It's really important to stand still because of the Tankies mod and Sentinels mod. They only activate when you're standing still, so gave us that issue with the Pepper Shaker earlier. Alright, this time we're going for the kill. And of course the Plaz is going to die, so I'm going to fix it real fast. Reload. Are you kidding me? What even took me out? Do I not have Stimpack Supers? Maybe I have regular Stims. No, I don't. Plaz is struggling to survive. Dang, that's too bad. gonna make sure I did that. And we're only gonna use 1 coffee this time. I just want to see here, just to keep it in comparison with the first run, the high health run, where we only used 1 coffee. It's still decent. Like, you only really need to use 1 coffee. The 10 coffee is honestly overkill. But I just wanted to show you guys how much it can stack with that 10 coffee. I don't see my Tankies mod proccing a lot, though. We're gonna move away from the tail because the tail is coming down. And is doing its scream attack a 2nd time in a row. That's unusual. It's just not wanting to cooperate tonight. What the heck? Look, it pulled me in. I'm behind the snake again. What the heck, dude? How the hell? I'm behind the waterfall. What the flip? Are you serious, God Todd? Are you for real right now? That's too much. I can't take all this trolling. What the heck? It pulled me in behind the freaking snake. Why? I'm just trying to get a freaking solid run with the Plaz. What the hell? It's happened twice in a row. So aggravating. I was behind the snake. It's the 2nd time it happens tonight. At least it's happening on stream so you guys can see it and I'm not just like... Okay, let me just clear my mind here. Make sure everything's good. Big Guns, Ballad, Tesla Science 9. Light Soup. Let's do Overdrive. And 1 coffee. Man, this is so annoying. I keep having these weird bugs over and over. If we could just get a clean run, it would be nice. We could move on to the next weapon. It almost pulled me in again. I don't understand why that keeps happening. It seems to happen more with the Plaz too. I don't know if it's just me, but it does seem to be happening more with the Plaz. I'm gonna let the AP regen here a little bit. Holy! Yeah, I don't think the Plaz has the ability to keep me alive. Remember what I was saying earlier about fire rate? It's strange though because we had plenty of survivability with the pepper shaker. But maybe we just need to drop this armor set. Maybe we just absolutely need to go sentinels for the pepper or for the Plaz to survive. We're just not surviving. That's our biggest problem. So let's use this other armor set that I used earlier to survive with the pepper shaker. Potentially, this might bridge the gap. We will find out. So this armor set has the Elementalists and Sentinels, but everything else is the same. Unyielding, limit breaking. This should increase survivability. Should. Okay, this world is honestly broken. I don't know what's going on with the pip. Okay, there we go. Okay. You saw nothing. You saw nothing, Glass Gang, okay? Look away, Glassy. You saw nothing. Didn't mean to do the Sunset Sarsaparilla. It doesn't do anything to our Plaz, so. Alright, let's just go. Hopefully we have more survivability now, because that wasn't good. We just couldn't survive it. The gap Plaz is almost broken again. Holy cow! Also, that headbutt strike almost pulled me in again. Super annoying that that keeps happening. I think we need to go to a new world after this. The snake is pissed off. It is just attacking like crazy, and it is doing me in. It really is. It is just rapid firing its attacks and pulling me into the lava and stuff. Like, it's not good. One minute, 13 seconds. So yeah, it's the same as the high health. The gap Plaz isn't doing too great, to be honest with you, on this bloodied build. It was doing fine with the high health build because we could tank all day long and we could keep doing damage. We got the same time though, 1 minute 15 versus 1 minute 13. Not a huge difference. I'm gonna mark it down. That was difficult. I will say that was a pain. It absolutely was. I had less max AP too, and we were still fine. I only used 1 coffee. So maybe I'm going the wrong way with this 1000 AP idea. Let's fire up another snake, and this will be the last round of testing, gang. I'm going to be testing the LMG here against the snake bloodied. At high health, it registered 1 minute. My fastest time bloodied was 53 seconds in another guide, like on another live stream. So, because I use footage from live streams for my guides, and so that's how I know it can get a 53 sub-minute. And honestly, if it doesn't beat 51 seconds, then it means the Pepper Shaker wins, and I don't want it to win. I don't want it to. I love the Pepper Shaker, but I just don't want Orange watching this stream later. And seeing this. Oh my god. Because it's gonna fill up his head even more. Oh yeah, I have to change worlds. This isn't a good idea here. This world was just not working for us. We were having so many issues with getting pulled behind the snake. I was literally behind the waterfall. So we're going to a new world, gang. I'm not putting up with that again. Yeah, it is Pepper Shaker supremacy. I mean, I've been saying it. Orange has been saying it. I won't deny it. It really is the most effective lazy option in terms of just bolting the build together. It doesn't need any coffee like the gap Plaz does. It gets the same times as the LMG just without being an ammo hog. It is super ammo efficient because it has such a lower fire rate. It's still able to do that DPS, get those low times, but it fires a lot less bullets in 10 seconds. It's like more than half the fire rate difference between the Pepper Shaker and the LMG, which means the LMG just ends up chewing through ammo to get the job done, versus the Pepper Shaker, you know, it doesn't have to, which makes it the meta option. It's the most efficient tactic available. Let's set up another snake. Pepper Shaker supremacy, gang. Oh my god. I can't believe it. I might be switching to the Pepper Shaker on my non-PA build. I've been loving the LMG, but I will admit it's really hard on ammo. It's super hard on ammo. It's hard to craft 308 because you don't get much for your craft. But the nice thing about the pepper shaker is that when you farm EN06, for example, you are so ammo positive, it's insane. It only takes like 175 rounds to kill EN06 with the pepper shaker because it does such a high damage per shot. Think of that. You're using less than 200 rounds and it returns 700 rounds. So when you're low on ammo, you can just farm EN06 or the snake. And the point I'm making here is I never go under in ammo. Anything I do, I'm always ammo positive with the pepper shaker. I'll start a stream one night and we're doing like a pepper shaker supremacy stream or something with the Orange Cowboy, and we're just farming the raids back to back, right? And I'll start with like 3,000 plasma cores on my character, and by the end of the night I have 10,000 because that's just what happens. We're always ammo positive with the pepper shaker. And like you saw, it's super easy to stay in VATS. It doesn't need any coffee. It doesn't care that we lose some of that AP return through the waterfall because it's not AP negative. It just is able to just tank that loss of AP for those first few seconds, and then it's infinite for the remainder of the fight. It's super efficient. I don't care what anyone says. I can see it. It's not my favorite gun in the game. I wish the Plaz was still better, but it's just not. How funny was that though, when the snake was pulling me in? Oh dear. Hopefully that doesn't happen here. Still have VATS accuracy boost, but we lost the magazine buff, so we'll do that to keep all the testing the same. So there's a magazine buff. We're gonna do overdrive. We gotta refresh our blight soup. Might as well refresh the company tea and cook soft shell. It just gives us more max AP. Alright, we're at 574. Without members on the team. 612 max AP now with someone on the team. So yeah, the time to beat is set by the pepper shaker. I hate to admit it, but a 51-second time, I don't think I can beat that with the LMG. My fastest time on record with the LMG with this exact same setup is 53 seconds. It's gonna be close. Let's see if there's anything we can change here last minute. We don't need Demo Expert, but we also don't need to unperk it. It doesn't hurt it being there. No, we can run this exactly like the same build as the Plaz. It don't matter that science is on there. We don't get anything from it, but there's really nothing else we can swap in place of Demo Expert and science to further optimize the LMG, but I could just drop them. We need Nerd Rage though. Where's my Nerd Rage? Okay, we can drop science for Gunsmith. And maybe Field Surgeon, so we get a little bit more survivability here. Okay. Let's make sure we're doing overdrive from the start. I gotta clear this out. I have too much stuff under aid. Looks like we're good to go. Please don't pull me into the lava again. Hopefully that was just a problem with that server we were in. We don't talk about those things on live streams, but there are videos on my channel and other channels about it, my guy. 57 seconds. Okay, this world is definitely working better. That was a smooth snake. Notice how it wasn't doing the scream attack so often. Oh neat, we got a limit breaking. That's usually a telltale sign because it doesn't typically do its scream attack twice or 3 times in a row like it was doing to us. That last world was insane. Which video is it on your channel? You have to go to the channel and type it into the search bar. Type in exactly what you think it would be called. There's a little search bar on the channel. You will find it if you look. I promise you. Young Padawan. "57 seconds. Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys, should we set up another snake? Or is that good? Should I try and beat the pepper shaker time? Or should we leave it at that? 57 seconds is good. But I know I've done faster by just a few seconds, so not like crazy fast, but... We did a bunch of different runs with the GLASSGANG. Honestly, the GLASSGANG surprised me the most, mainly because it struggled so much with survivability. Which is really interesting, and I genuinely can't figure out why. But, like, it just doesn't make sense. The fire rate is there to support it. It has lower fire rate than the pepper shaker, and the pepper shaker did much better in terms of survivability. The LMG obviously has no trouble at all. I didn't expect it to. The fire rate is really high, and it can support being bloodied no problem. But the GLASSGANG, I was really surprised to see. They honestly nerfed the GLASSGANG way too hard. Like a year ago, they nerfed the GLASSGANG and they went way too hard on it. It went from the S tier all the way down to A tier on our tier list when we measured like DPS, versatility, and efficiency compared to other heavy guns. They just did it dirty, to be honest with you. That's good, Darren Menias. It's always good to switch things up, right? Switching to a different build sometimes really revitalizes your experience. That's what's nice about this game. There's exponential amounts of, different combinations and possibilities you can do. So always be open to explore different avenues with your build, different weapons that might work with your build, different buffs or just tactics too can help a lot. I'm going to try crippling the snake at the start like I usually recommend you guys do this time around, just to see if we can drop that from 57 to 53. You're rooting against the pepper shaker. I hate to break it to you, but the pepper shaker is dominating right now. It had no trouble setting that 51 second time. If I ran it again, I'd probably be able to get it further down. I hate to break it to you. I'm rooting against it too, though, Darren. I'm totally being honest with you. It's not my favorite heavy gun. I'm not a fan of the look of the weapon overall. It's not bad if you're specifically running a raider type of character, but my character is a she's responder themed, so she's a nurse. I have a clinic camp. The pepper shaker just doesn't match, you know. So I like the LMG. The LMG does match. It has like a military look, something like a service weapon would look like if you were in the military. So that's what I like about it. It definitely fits, you know, the type of weapons that would probably be given to first responders if they were to use weapons. But the pepper shaker it set one hell of a time, let me tell you. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about getting mini glass inside the raid this time around because she's just so over encumbered. It's gonna take her 10 years, 3 business days, and I'm not down for it. Let's just run it. Let's see what it can do. Let me just double check the build here before we give it the old 2-tap. Let's set up that overdrive. And we have accuracy boost, big guns, Tesla Science 9, Blight Soup, all the goodies. They're all there. That's what we need. Do we still have company tea? We do. Okay, we don't need coffee, luckily. So I should start with full Bulletstorm stack. So at least for this weapon, for the sake of this weapon, we should start with, I think we can only start with 5 though, but still. Yeah, see, it tops out at 10 with this Furious mod. So there we go. 5 stacks of Bulletstorm and a full magazine later. We're ready to start. We're gonna try to get the cripple on the snake at the start of the fight. Hopefully we can. Hopefully it doesn't look like we're doing enough damage. Come on, my guy. We did not get it at... Oh my god! Alright. It just took me out instantly. Sorry for yelling. Okay, well that was really fast of a kill on the snake's part. GG for dropping the times on me, snaky boy. You got me. The snake is working on his times on dropping my ass. Overdrive, let's go. Come and get it. Surprised I'm not crippling it, but it's probably because I'm a carnivore. You do get less from Blight Soup, and typically my herbivore build doesn't have any trouble crippling the snake at the start of the fight. Yeah, see, that took way too long to get the cripple, and we didn't even force the crippled animation. So the times are going to be botched because of that, but look at the damage we're doing. We do get that 75% more damage. Oh my god. I wasn't standing still for that. My survivability drops like 50% if I don't stand still for that headbutt strike. Because of sentinels on the build, it's so important. Let's try again, one more time for the road. I definitely need to check my aid though, because something doesn't seem right. I'm dying pretty easily, whereas earlier we weren't having such troubles. Oh, okay, here we go. We have regular stims, so there we go. Drop them. Stimpak supers is what we need. Alright, last one. I won't try crippling it. I am carnivore, so it's better if I just target the eyes and send it. We'll get more weak point damage out sooner that way. Yeah, see, we're doing more damage sooner. Alright. Is what it is. What the heck? Okay, that's just weird. Like, what's going on here is I'm not even seeing like evasive proc. Let's try this here. This might fix it. Swapping perk card loadouts. It's an old bug where sometimes your perk cards don't apply when you switch a different world, which we just did. We did just switch worlds, and I'm wondering if maybe that bug was active because I'm not seeing evasive or serendipity proc at all. So, like, what the hell? Where is my survivability? Evasive and serendipity make a big difference. So let's try and get this done. I'm gonna pre-stack Bulletstorm, and since the snake is making me work for it here, we're gonna get mini glass back in the world, or sorry, back in the instance, so that I can get some loot from these efforts at least, some extra loot. So doing that at the same time. There we go. Let's go for the kill. I don't see evasive procking at all. I'm just tanking all the damage. Okay, finally procced. Serendipity procced. So they are working. Are you serious? We were at 40 seconds and I had to reload. 55 seconds. We got it down by 2 seconds. We were at like 45 seconds though when I ran out of bullets and it had a sliver of life. Oh my god. I'm not gonna run it again though. We're gonna take it. That's it for me tonight, game. I am beat. The snake absolutely whooped my butt with these bloodied builds. Let me know which one you thought was the best build. Personally, kind of feels like the Pepper Shaker was actually surviving it better. The LMG though, I don't understand what's going on because the LMG doesn't give me anywhere near trouble like this, and I've been maining this build and I did a whole live stream where it was just the LMG running the snake solo back to back and I died like twice in like 10 snakes. It's normal to die with being bloodied, you know, you're sacrificing 80% of your health, but it's not normal to die that often. Just makes me feel like switching worlds might have messed with the build where evasive and serendipity weren't proccing, because after switching the build cards, I could see them proccing again. So makes me think like we just weren't getting our survivability perks like evasive and serendipity to proc there when we first loaded into the world, which is a common bug, and I think that's what was happening. Because usually I don't have issues at all with this build, surviving wise with the LMG. The LMG's fast, it's really good, lots of range, and the only real downside is it's an ammo hog. It runs right through that 308 like no problem, and it's really hard to craft 308. You don't get a lot for your crafting, even if you have all the perks for it. So I might actually end up switching to maining the Pepper Shaker. So we got a best time. We're going over it right now. The best time high health for Plaz was 1 minute 15. The best time low health for the Plaz was 1 minute 13. Slower by 2 or faster by 2 seconds at low health. The Pepper Shaker best time high health was 1 minute. The best time at low health was 51 seconds. The LMG, the best time at high health was 1 minute, exactly tying with the Pepper Shaker. And honestly, I think we would have gotten 51 seconds too if not for that really bad reload. Right when we reached 50 seconds. But we got 55 seconds that last run, so Pepper Shaker takes the win here tonight. It tied with the LMG high health, but then it took the victory low health. Really, really interesting. Glad I did this stream because I didn't think the Pepper Shaker could do it at all. I thought we'd be dying more with the Pepper Shaker. So, wow. Maybe I might start maining the Pepper Shaker. Who knows? I'm Miss Glass. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. GG! I left our GLASSGANG link in the description if you want to find a community to play with. I also left our Discord link, and there's no obligation to join the GLASSGANG to join our Discord. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.